So yeah, I want to touch on a proper topic today. I want to actually start doing this more often because I feel like the channel's now just become something where I do something to the car and I'll post it. I want to cater to a wider audience of you guys and welcome more people to the channel. I already really respect that a lot of you guys have stayed throughout the loss of the ST and the selling of the Mark V, and I really respect that. So I just actually want to make a video now with a bit of substance for all of you out there really, but mainly for new drivers on the road. I am directing this video more so towards the younger car enthusiast, someone who's just got their first car or looking to get their first car, and a few tips of advice, if I may, on what you should do before you start to essentially drive your car spirited, drive it fast, you know, have a bit of fun in it. Things that you should really do before you start to do that. I know that when I passed my test, I told myself before I passed my test, I'm going to drive perfect and everything's going to be, you know, really to the driving test standards and I'm going to drive amazing. But after a while, that all goes out the window and you sort of drive in your own sort of way. You try to keep it as safe as possible, but sometimes maybe you want to have a little bit of a play with another car, or you see a nice road in front of you, you want to go for a little blast. I want to speak about basically preventing yourself from having an accident. It's a very common thing for new drivers to have accidents on the road, as we all know, don't have the experience, or maybe they don't know when to stop pushing their car. So I just want to speak on a few little things that you can do without really affecting your insurance too much, or not really telling the insurance company at all, because insurance costs are pretty damn high for brand new drivers. For the most part, you know, you may have a black box, which if that's the case, then you may not be able to actually enjoy your car in the sense as you would be able to if you didn't have a black box. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to talk about a few mods that I would highly recommend that don't really even count as mods, just upgrades, just little things that you can do without even telling your insurance company. So I think in terms of promoting safety, we'll get into the first one, and that's ensuring that your car is actually fit for road use. It may well have an MOT, but when was the last time that car was MOT'd? And also, more importantly, is there stuff that may have been overlooked in the previous MOT? Maybe it's been a dodgy MOT, or maybe it's just a problem that's formed over time, or it might just be the characteristics of the car. Is the car safe to drive? Have you fully checked it over? Has it been serviced? Let me tell you, it's very, very important to keep an eye on those things if you want to drive your car fast on the road, and if you want to actually, one, enjoy the car, and two, prevent yourself from potentially dying in a very horrible accident. Make sure before you even go out and drive the car that, you know, one, the car's been properly serviced, it's had a proper oil change, the engine's running fine. This is something that's really, really overlooked a lot of the time as a new driver. So you want to just bolt everything onto your car and go. Not only is that something that you should really be declaring to your insurance company, but you can't always do, it's just a waste of money. You really want to get the most out of your car on the road. You want to make sure it lasts a long time. So make sure it's serviced, make sure the wheels are on properly, make sure they're all the wheel nuts are torqued up, make sure your tyre pressures are good, which we'll talk about in a moment, and just make sure that your car is safe. I'll do another video soon just explaining checks that I like to do on my car, some stuff that I should really do more frequently. Number one, a big massive please, just make sure your car is safe to drive on the road by checking those things. Are your wheel bearings fine? Are you getting a wobble in your steering wheel after a certain amount of time? I know I was in one of my first cars, and after a while it turned out to be the wheel was actually buckled and I never knew. So if you have any little problems like that, just make sure you get them looked into. I promise you it will be worth it. You can make the most out of your car when you know that it's perfect, when you know it's running fine, when all the bushes are doing what they're supposed to be doing, the suspension is doing what it's supposed to be doing, the brakes are working properly. So number two then, and something that I cannot stress enough, something that I actually learned not the hard way but learned from doing it myself, was just putting better tyres on the car. A lot of cars you find these days will have brand new tyres on them, and especially if you're a new driver, you'd look at them and think, well, that's really good, they're brand new tyres, they're going to be really, you know, good in the wet, they're going to be safe, they're nothing's going to go wrong. But let me tell you that there's a huge difference between buying a budget tyre for the car and a high performance tyre. For example, it's like comparing a piece of Primark clothing to for example, a Ralph Lauren polo shirt. It will look good, it will do the job, but eventually you'll find that it's just not up to scratch, that the quality isn't there. You're going to wheel spin in the wet, for example, I do in my car, and I don't even push it, I'll be pulling off from traffic lights, my car will spin because the tyres are crap. So definitely an upgrade that I'm going to be doing very soon, and something that you guys should do as well. One of the first upgrades that you should do to your car that you don't really need to tell your insurance company about is changing out those crappy tyres that you've gotten on your first car, changing them out for a good pair of tyres from a brand such as Michelin, Continentals. Have a good look around, look for a decent set of tyres for your car. You'll thank yourself for it. Having a good set of tyres on your car is very confidence inspiring. It's going to bring out the most out of your car, really. You're going to be safer, you're going to brake a lot faster, the car's going to go around a corner a lot safer, you're not going to feel your back end coming out as much. I know it sounds boring, and I know you think, well, it's not an air filter, it's not an exhaust, it doesn't sound loud, it's not cool, I'm not going to do it. Trust me, I've been there. I spent all of my money on exhaust and air filter, induction, lowering it and all this crap, but without the right tyres, it's just not up to the job. I think number 3, very, very good one, is brakes. Get yourself some decent brakes on the car. They don't necessarily have to be some big, massive calipers, because again, as I said a minute ago, upgrading your brakes is something that you really should tell your insurance company. So just a decent set of pads, decent discs. The normal discs are completely fine. Go to Euro Car Parts, get yourself some normal flat padded discs, just some better pads really. Get yourself some Brembo pads that fill up more of the surface area of the disc. EBC pads, like some yellow stuff pads, something with a little bit more braking force. Something that you should definitely check even when you're getting into your first car is the brakes. Make sure that they're all running up to scratch. Is the brake pedal spongy? Okay, if so, maybe go and bleed the brakes. I'll do videos on how to do all of that stuff in the future, guys, but just one big thing, brakes, very, very important. Something that you guys should look to refresh at least, if not upgrade, is the brake pads and also your brake fluid. Bleed the system, make sure your brake pedal is strong, not spongy, and you shouldn't really have any problems. Number 4 isn't a mod as such, but that's making sure that your car is clean. I know some of you guys are going to be thinking, what the hell? But let me tell you, the amount of times that I've seen new drivers who just don't bother cleaning their cars, just driving in general. The windscreens are filthy, the number plates are covered in dirt. It's not a good look, especially if you're on the motorway. There's an undercover police car behind you, or even a police car. If they see that your number plate is caked in dirt, they're not going to be very happy. They may potentially pull you over because it's ruining the reflective properties of the number plate. May not be able to pick it up on an ANPR camera or a camera of any sort. It may just be that it's not visible even to the police. They may not be able to see a number plate. Something that you should really make sure that you do is make sure that your car is clean. If not extremely clean, then at least clean enough so that you can see out of your windscreen clearly, out your rear window, your mirrors, and your number plate and your front number plate. Make sure that those areas are clean at least. But something that I'd highly suggest, just make sure your car is clean. It makes it feel a lot nicer to be in a clean vehicle, clean interior, clean exterior, clean engine bay. I've got videos on that on the channel you guys can check out. I will update those videos at some point in the future. It just makes your car a much nicer place to be. I'm OCD, I like to keep my car very clean, but a lot of people out there don't, and it's definitely something that can be a risk factor if your windscreen's dirty, if your rear window's dirty. Get a good glass cleaner, get yourself a microfiber cloth, and just sort your car out. Honestly, you'll thank yourself for it. If you ever have any visibility issues in the rain, your windscreen's going to be clean. Give it a good coating of Rain-X and you'll be just good. Last but not least, I just want to say this video isn't so much a upgrades video, it's tips that I would give to you guys as new car enthusiasts, new drivers, to make the most out of your car. 5 most important to me personally, and should be very important to you as well, is to learn how to work on your car. If you are genuinely an enthusiast, you're enthusiastic about cars, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do an oil change on your car or do these simple little tasks. Not only will you save loads of money, but you'll genuinely appreciate the fact that you've done it yourself. It's a really good feeling to do a bit of DIY, and it's a very good learning curve as well. Working on my cars has taught me you are going to make mistakes, but if it's a cheap enough car, those mistakes can be rectified pretty damn cheaply, and you're going to learn a lot while doing it. Oil change, you can learn how oil lubricates an engine. You can Google it and you can search these things where and when you do them. I've got a problem with wheel bearing, the car need to replace it. Maybe not a task that big, but you can go on Google and see how a wheel bearing works, and you probably never would have known before if you weren't to do it. So just doing these tasks on your own and genuinely sort of paying attention to what you're doing, learning how it all works, can really help you learn how a car works in symphony with itself. And it's just a very good idea to work on your own car. I wouldn't suggest doing a gearbox, for example, or taking an engine out, or, you know, even replacing your suspension on your own if you're a brand new car enthusiast. But I would definitely say just working on your car, starting with the little jobs like potentially, you know, changing your brake pads, or again, oil change, air filter, service items, as I would say, doing little service bits to your car, making sure you do it properly, making sure you've got the right tools, get yourself a nice little inventory of tools and get the job done yourself. It's going to help you learn your car a lot better. You're going to understand how a car works even more, and you're going to be pushed to research these things and actually learn while doing it on your own. And it's just a very good idea. So number 5, just work on your own car, understand how it works, keep it clean, you know, upgrade the things that I've told you about, don't be an asshole on the road, drive fast in the right place at the right time, know where you are. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. That's 5 tips that I would give to you guys as new car enthusiasts, but really anyone out there getting the most out of your car but being safe while doing so. Those are the 5 things that I would highly recommend. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A little bit different to what I'd usually make, but I feel like I've had a little bit of experience with the cars now. I know what's good and what's bad. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something from this video. Until next time, I've been Lewis, you've been awesome, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.